Hi everyone, Anthony here. Welcome to the channel. If you just, oh, by the way, this is my fourth attempt to start this video. Something's always happening in the background. Guess what? You guys know what that means. Someone's here with me, or some of my guides are here, some of my angels are here. Oh my gosh, they're really here. Always when my nose itches on my right side, that is always confirmation that someone's here with me in a video. So if you just watched the last video, oh shoot, I think I forgot the name of the title of that video. I did. Okay, hang on just a second, because you got to know it. Okay, hey guys, Anthony here. Welcome to the channel. This is at least my fifth or sixth attempt at starting this video. Now, I was getting interference in the background. I was getting constant interruptions. My guides joined me, which is awesome. I could feel them here. I was giggling on camera. It was amazing. And then my camera just shut off. And so I've plugged it in. I'm hoping we're going to be okay. Let's get started. If you just watched the last video, which I believe was, yes, Believe Before You See. Okay, you guys know I said that was in the middle of the night. And I wasn't going to do a video like that, and I ended up doing it. This is just a few hours later because I woke up and I couldn't sleep. And I was going to, it's kind of normal for flight attendants because, you know, sometimes I have to be at normally between 2 and 4 a.m. So it's no big deal for me. So I was going to watch maybe a video on one of my videos on YouTube. And as soon as I opened one up, I realized within the first few seconds I couldn't watch it in bed on my mobile device. I had to get up and move to the living room because it was going to be really, really detailed, and I just had this overwhelming feeling. Get up, get your journal, sit down, restart the video, and start taking notes, which is what I did. So this is a follow-up actually to the Believe Before You See. Because I don't think I've done a video back-to-back like this so quickly with information that came in that was just massive confirmation. So I'm like, this is like amazing. So I'm just going to get right into this. I want to give the shout out though to, this is Tarot with Michelle. And because this is the week of Christmas that this is being filmed, she was giving a free extended, which normally, those of you who are new to this, when you go into a channeled message, you'll get a section that they'll do for general messages, and then they'll offer an extended version, which gives you more detail. I've never even experienced an extended version, so I thought, oh my God, this is exciting. Let me see what this is all about. And I love her interpretation, the way she does the cards, and you can see her face, which is amazing for me because I'm an empath and I can read energy. So I love it when I can see their face and the cards as it's happening. It just resonates more with me, the messages that are coming forward. So that being said, let's jump into this. So the first thing that she started off with is that I am shifting from old energy into the new. That means prioritizing moving forward into this new in the direction of my goals and dreams. That pretty much sums up what I have been doing in the past few months. Now you guys know, I've told you in our videos here before that my journey started on May 22nd of 2025. So at this point, we're 7 months into my beginning and becoming aware of the veil being pierced and making changes in my life that caused this catalyst, because now I can kind of see. A lot of people refer to it as the matrix, and what that means to me is like, and I've said this before, I'm not a fan of Facebook. I'm not on Facebook. I was, but that sounds like my car alarm. Okay, no, it went off. So I'm not a fan of it because I know that a lot of people get sucked into the drama of Facebook, because, you know, in my industry, I see a lot of families, a lot of people that will post out their best produced lives. And when I say produced, you know what I'm talking about. They'll put photos on there, and they're, you know, either airbrushed or AI generated, or some trick is in there to where they're looking their absolute best, living their best life, and making everyone else look like slobs and jealous. And so it's just this envious cycle, I think, that keeps happening, like one-upmanship, to show that you're doing amazing to your people out there that you probably never even talked to in real life. That's my big problem with it. And to me, it's all fake. It's the Matrix. Facebook is the Matrix, in my opinion. And working just to pay a mortgage and to get caught up and live like everyone else lives, that's the Matrix. So when you step across the veil, you see that you don't have to be engaged in that toxicity. You can pull your higher self up and get out of it and be more aligned with what your soul's purpose is. That's the whole point of this life, is to live your authentic self with love and light, and to enjoy yourself and to help others along the way. It has nothing to do with where you live, how much money you make, what car you drive, and what you're wearing. So that's my soapbox. So just get off my soapbox for a second. Also, so I just highlighted everything that really resonated in my journey. Freedom. I have let go of the past. Now, you guys know, just watching these videos, you can tell what I've been going through, because I am real and raw in all my videos. So one of the things that I let go of the past is abandonment issues as an infant, up until my adoption at the age of 5. And then the trauma of being bullied and ridiculed and shamed all through my educational years up until graduation from high school. And then grappling with the knowing at the age of 19 that I was also gay. So, and coming to terms with spirituality from a family that wasn't really practicing that much, but had a lot of roots in what you can and can't do and what was taboo. So there's a lot of therapy involved in all that, and I've gone through therapy at different stages of my life, and I always wholeheartedly love it if you have someone you can talk to, whether it's someone who is clinical, licensed, whatever, or just a compassionate friend that understands what's going on, that can offer you insight and to help you overcome whatever issues you have to overcome. But for me, I have had to let go of those past hurts and apologize for not standing up more for myself in the past because of my wounds. And that's not always an easy task. If you think of yourself as an onion, you're constantly peeling layer after layer apart until you come down to your core, which I'm not sure if you ever really reach your core, because we're constantly evolving. And different things will come up in your life that will trigger you. And your job is to deal with that as effectively as possible without jeopardizing your harmony and your balance and your values for yourself and how you interact with other people and they interact with you and what your expectations are. So I hope that kind of makes sense. Tower moments. A lot of people fear the tower. Tower moments actually can offer clarity into a situation. You undergo a tower. Some towers can be hard for some people. I'm not going to say they're not hard. What I'm going to say, though, is that don't look at it as a negative. Look at it as an opportunity to evaluate something that's going on in your life, a habit or a mindset that maybe no longer serves you, that you need to, look into it and meditate over it and analyze your actions over the past to see if it's contributed to something that's got you where you are at that point, if you're at a low point. And for me, the tower moments can bring about, I can get really frustrated and I can get really upset and I can feel really disorganized and upside down. But once I start doing the work to go to process those feelings, on the other side, it's so much easier because you've gotten rid of one more thing that doesn't serve you in this lifetime. Okay, okay, no, it's just one sentence. We're getting ready to appart the whole paragraph. Incorporating new information or energy into the, wait a minute. Incorporating new information or energy into the new. I think I meant to say the new outlook. Okay, that part I can get. I prioritize my emotional well-being to heal from heartbreak and now to pursue my dreams of my new life. That is really it. So all this started because of my current marriage that I walked away from to save myself. And it wasn't until I got away from it and started the healing process, which has taken me 2 years now. And I'm still ongoing, but it's all tied to my past traumas from childhood and teenager and early adult that have contributed to me allowing things to happen in my life where I felt I was not owed justice, not owed to be placed on a pedestal, to where it was my job to work for someone else's happiness, not my own happiness. I was putting other people ahead of me, and I was not allowing an efficient flow of energy that went back and forth between us. I was doing all the work, and they weren't doing anything, and they were abusing basically what I would call my essence, my light. And it's not until I saw that I became really upset. And so it's been very easy for me to end relationships, which I've done. My husband's and my best friend. Those are the two big ones. And then there's been others that I've had to modify. How much energy am I putting into this, and what am I getting back out of this? And think of it as taking the weeds out of your garden. So if you're the flower, if you're the rose bush, you want to have the beautiful soil, and you want to have all the wonderful sunshine and water and vitamins and nutrients coming to you. So you got to weed out the weeds that are going to suck that stuff off of you. That's the best analogy I can think of. And I do terrariums, you know that. So it's a great analogy for me. Okay, here's actually the reason why I jumped at my journal. The Phoenix Rising card. Now, I've never seen any of the tarot decks that had a Phoenix Rising card. Now, you guys know, if you pay attention to the channel, that I have a Phoenix Rising as my emblem on the channel. So when I created this channel, I had this fixation I could not get rid of. And I'd had this idea in my head for a couple of months before I even started the channel. Because I have told you that I fought starting this channel. I did not think I'd have enough content. I doubted myself. I didn't think anyone would be listening or find any merit in it. But I agreed to do it. But during that process, even before that process, I kept being drawn to a white phoenix rising from the ashes. So when I started to start this channel, and I thought, okay, what do I want as my emblem on my channel? And it was just a no-brainer. It came to me immediately, a white phoenix rising from the ashes, because it's a metamorphosis, and I felt like it embodied me. Now, every phoenix color has a spiritual reference, and I can't remember what the white one is. It's saved on my phone, so at the end, if I could think about it, I'll pull it back up for you guys. But it just blew me away. I remember at the time, I read it, and I was like, oh my God, that's why I chose the white phoenix. It really resonated with me. So when the Rising Phoenix card popped up, this is what it says. It's embracing the new, taking lessons of the old and not repeating them or any history. I love that. And then there is a second part. There is mastery connected to the phoenix. My rising up, again, like the phoenix, has created a new, more confident energy and more confidence within me. So the phoenix card came up then, and then also it came up later as a reference in the extended version of what she was talking about, what Michelle was talking about. So the change was, there is a change in how I interact with people, what is expected from them and of me. This old way or old cycle has been broke, and I have healed from within. I am no longer afraid, as now I will experience things in a new way, and I'm open to new opportunities, which equals ready to shed my old version and my old wounds, equaling moving on and free to let the old go. This letting go has opened the door to my new beginnings, opportunities, and love. So I was always meant, it came up, and I don't think I wrote it down specifically, but I remember exactly what she said. I watched the video twice already, just so I could get all my notes really, really complete. What she said was, is this relationship I was in was never meant to last. It was meant to be the catalyst for my change. So if you think about it, I was a caterpillar during this whole time, and now I've had my metamorphosis. Now I have blossomed into this newer version that is not going to stand for the BS, that I'm going to want equality and justice. Now, I have spoken a lot about balance and justice and harmony in the universe on my channel here in many, many of my videos. I do not know why it resonates so strongly with me, but it popped up in this reading again. There were so many words that went straight back to balance, harmony, and justice. I actually had the justice card pulled, and that I think is something that focused up later in the reading. If we get to that, I think I wrote something down about that. So because of this reemergence now, this has opened up a new beginning that is on my horizon. Does it mean I'm finished with my work? No, because things pop up constantly. There's something that, I mean, you couldn't do everything all at once anyway. You want this to be a natural progression. So when you experience your chaos moments, that's when you want to go in and reflect through your prayer or your meditation. Now, you guys know that I do what I call a prayer meditation, but I don't do it laying down in a quiet place. I do it outside, usually always at night. I prefer there to be the moon, but because it's winter now where I am, I don't ever get to see the moon anymore because it's shifted in the sky. So I'm just out at night where I feel my strongest essence or my strongest aura because I am a moon sign. So I prefer to go out at night and in a forest, one of my favorite places, and commune with Mother Nature and the trees. And that's where I feel very comfortable and I speak out loud. So, and when I was talking about I speak out loud, I get really loud. So I think the reason why I do it at night is because I don't want someone to hear me and think I'm crazy and call, you know, like the popo and say, there's this insane dude going around, you know, yelling. Because sometimes I do yell. Anyway, okay, so let's do that. All right. In the extended version, so here we go. I have a full page on just the extended. Excuse me. Learn from, I was always meant to close out, excuse me. I was always meant to close out this chapter. Which is just what we just spoke about. To learn from and move on. Self-preservation and not backing down. Setting boundaries, advocating for self, walking away leads to happiness, towers help me see things, I initiated my new beginning, this was my conscious choice to do the work, find my emotional balance, heal each issue, move beyond, act from a place of balance and not from loss or lack. Now that's very important because I was operating, I come from a very pessimistic family. That's the easiest way to say it. And it was ingrained in me as a child. If something was going to go wrong, it was going to go wrong and it was meant to go wrong. That is how I was raised. And to break that cycle was very difficult because it does mean that you have to constantly now, for me, correct members of my own family because no matter what I tell them, some of their first reaction is negative. It's what they live in. It's what they're comfortable with. And so I have to constantly take a step back, not always correct the issue because it's not going to help with some of the people that I'm talking about, but I try to. Because being in a lack means that's where your life is going to stay stuck. If you have a preconceived notion that it's going to go wrong, you're right. You manifested that. Because remember, your thoughts that you put out there in the universe, your guide's here. And if that's what you're putting out there, that's what you're going to get back. Okay, I have never had issues with my voice, but I'm having issues with my voice. This leads me to, my intuition is telling me that someone doesn't want me to say this. And whoever that is, you have no power over me in this realm. And I am banishing you, and I am asking Archangel Gabriel to please protect my throat chakra. Okay, there you have it. You have a real world example of what is happening right now. When I'm trying to tell you something and someone's trying to block me and cause my throat to choke up to where I can't get my message out, that's how you take care of something right then. That's pulling a weed right then. And I'm relying on Archangel Gabriel to protect me. You guys know that I don't do a video where I don't feel my guides and my angels aren't with me. They're with me right now. What you don't see, and I may just put it into the video, is me giggling because at the beginning of all the other starts, my angels are right there. But guess what? I had to restart at least 5 times. Someone did not want this message to come out. And so we are blocking that person right now. And remember, I just told you my camera went dead, and so I've plugged it in. So there's another issue with someone not wanting this message to come out. So I'm hitting a nerve somewhere out there. So let's continue. Since we know we're on the right track, we know we're hitting some nerves, that's good news for us because we're purging something out right now. As I dealt with emotions, wounds, toxic ways, and prioritized myself, healing, changing my outlook, letting go of what did not serve me, then I naturally progressed to alchemizing and manifesting my new future in every way possible. So, and there was no script for this, none whatsoever. As I started dealing with blocking my current husband, being emphatic that I was not allowing him to come back for another time, and blocking him spiritually with Archangel Michael providing that service every single time I asked. And as a matter of fact, every time I could see it happening, I could see Michael in his chamber on a mountain do the blocking every single time. I could see the vision of it every single time. And I have a very, very close relationship with my archangels. And I rely on Michael so heavily for my protection. And I could actually even see the shadowy figures that are being cut and blocked from my energy. So there's a group of them out there. And I know most of the people that we're talking about intimately. So in your quest yourself, it may be difficult for you to block someone and to realize that someone, if you're a light worker, if you align with being a light worker or just emerging as a light worker, or if you just feel like there's injustice in your life and someone has a hand in that, it can be very difficult to block individuals that you love. I'm going to tell you that the relationships I've had throughout my entire life, I've never loved anyone like I love my husband. and I would have done anything for him, and I did, to my detriment. But I received nothing back. It was not a two-way street. It was a one-way street. And his goal, for whatever reason, was to not provide love, emotion, communication. So every time that we tried to live together was a disaster, because I felt like he would show me behind closed doors. He treated me like I was an ogre, something to be avoided and to not communicate with. The affection was a generic hug every once in a while, like something you would give to a stranger that you met. Like, oh, it's nice to meet you, here's a little stupid hug. That's what it was like. We did not share a bed. A lot of you are going to be in shock. How could you be married to someone for 8 years and not share a bed? Well, yeah, it happens. And that was the hardest thing I had to do. To walk away from that relationship was the hardest thing I've ever had to do, because I was, as a Cancer, we're, I think, known for loving very, very hard, and we don't like to give up. Cancer does not like to give up. And I had to, a Cancer lives in its shell, and it's my blood sugar. Sorry about that. Let's just tell it to hush up. Okay, so see, there's something else coming up. I am hitting a nerve somewhere, and I know who it is, and I'm going to block them again after this video is over. Okay, so I hope that answers all those questions. But I was going to say, as a Cancer, we live in our little shell. Well, my little shell was my home that I shared every once in a while with this individual, and I had to move away from my shell. I had to find a new shell. Well, this new shell's too small, but, hey, that's another thing. But that was tough. So here's the section on goals. We're almost done. Those of you who are like, okay, this is a long video, shut up. Focus on what I love and value and remain emotionally balanced. There we go again, balance. In what I want in my life. Keep taking a look at the big picture. You can take a step back to reevaluate. And I wrote in the notes here, it's good to confirm that you're still on the right path and prioritizing anything that you want, or anything like a goal or your end game. Take action against anything that I see that's conflicting with my big picture. Justice is a major theme in my new self. Act from a place of balance. There you go again, balance again. I'm telling you, this came up so often. Remember that towers offer clarity to situations I am meant to grow and expand. The information that I need will arrive at the time I need it. That's one of the harder ones for me, because I'm very action oriented and I want things to happen. This allows me to step into a higher version of myself, trust myself and my intuition, and acting from, guess what, a balanced place. So there you go. The dynamic equals stress or overwhelmed. Okay, so the dynamic. Okay, here we go. So the dynamic is like this. You can get stressed and overwhelmed, can equal a tower moment, which offers clarity and to release that's being brought into action. That turns into an emotional balance, trusting in myself, happiness, stability, and whatever you have tried to manifest for your future, if it's a relationship or, a job or a move or, whatever your goal really is. When I went into manifesting, it kind of just all blew up at once. I did a special video on it where I was in prayer meditation, and this was actually when I was at home in my bed, and I was talking and I was holding my white crystal to like I do it like this, hold it to my heart, and and while I was meditating, I was talking about it, and I got the message that said I'm not dreaming big enough, because all I said was, oh, it would really be nice if the channel, talking about the aquascaping channel, because I didn't have this one at the time, if the aquascaping channel, would get more subscribers and, be a popular channel or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And that's all I really thought about it. So I got the message right away that said I wasn't dreaming big enough. And as soon as that hit me, I got a third eye vision of what it could look like. And I was like gung-ho. When I saw that, I was like, oh, I can dream like that? Okay, well, here you go. And I just listed off a whole slew of things that I wanted. And so when they come true, I'll expose to you everything that I manifested. But I'm keeping that sacred and close to my heart until it does manifest, so I can give you guys confirmation on a very special video about that. But I hope this has offered some clarity for everyone out there that may be, not understanding what all the stages mean that you're going through. Because a lot of times when when a lot of channelers they talk about the Tower card, they'll throw all these things up. It doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. You're on your own personal journey. And if you're on your journey with the divine, there is nothing you need to fear. Is it going to be easy? No, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to tell you that. If you guys watched my Dark Night of the Soul, or if you watched the other videos where I've had a crisis of faith, those things are very real, they're very unsettling, and you've got to work through the process. Some things are sent to you as not just a test, but to test your resolve in working through the issues, to show your guides that you are ready to embrace this new way of thinking, that you're not going to revert back to your old self. Because they're not going to want to send you let's say everything for you is based on a relationship, and you're like praying for this awesome new relationship to come into your life. Well, if you don't change your ways of what you've been doing that maybe be sabotaging or not having a healthy relationship, what's the point in sending you someone who's awesome if you're just going to keep making the same mistakes over and over and over? And you each will know what I'm talking about in your own life, because you can pinpoint them immediately. For me, it was overcompensating and overgiving because I thought my value was lower than. So that's just one example that's really easy for me to pull off the top of my head to give you guys as an example of how you can flip the script on that. Once you start to stand in your power and you gain your own authority, it's just like what I do every single time I go into my pre-meditation prayer, where I am outside praying out loud. I am welcoming my guides and my spirit team in, but I'm also there acknowledging I'm in Mother Nature's presence. I'm saying hello to the trees, hello to the forest. Thank you for allowing me this sacred space. And then I just go in to start talking with them and inviting people in, and then just having a discussion. This does not have to be complicated. Whatever is on your heart is what your guides they're going to be listening to you no matter what, and they know you better than you know yourself. If you guys will remember, there was a video I put out where I had the visions of timelines, and there's so many zillions of timelines out there, it's unfathomable how many there are. But every one is valued. And when you think nothing is happening when you're working towards a goal, just remember what we learned in the last two videos, and I brought it up in the last one, is that chaos is not what you think it is. Remember, that was a channeled message that came through for me. Chaos actually is when your angels and your guides are working behind the scenes to align your timeline with what you are destined to achieve when you get to the level you are going towards. So just remember that. You may see chaos, but from their perspective, they're working things out to get you where you want to be. And how you get there is the work you do along the process. It's not like one mountain you're climbing. You've got several, I don't want to say mountains because that makes it seem impossible. It's not impossible. You can do it. It's not going to be, I'm not just going to say it's easy like I said before, but it's something you take one step at a time. And hopefully this series will help you see how I am progressing and how my aura, my outlook has changed, because remember, I've had 2 experiences now where I woke up with no worry. That is still with me. I have woken up where everything is calm. That is still with me. And it is a massive difference to be on the other side of the veil. So I hope this helps. I hope this video resonates with you. So until you see me in the air as your flight attendant, hey, could happen, or on the next video update, I'm sending you guys and wishing you nothing but light and love. And you guys have a great day. Bye-bye.